From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher. Their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicki Fisher. Our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Skripchuk. And our Batman, the master of tools, gadgets, and all things mechanical, our mild-mannered soon-to-be billionaire, Alan Danvers. Their mission, to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them, and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team.
Captain's Log Supplemental.
So, Miss Vicki.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember when we were watching those WRL events and some of those Grid Life events where you used to see the in-car video and it had like the cameras seeing front and back, but it also could see all the telemetry and everything that was going on?
Mm-hmm.
You know, most of the ones that we liked were taken by the Sentinel system. Remember James came on our podcast earlier? Right. You know, we have no excuse since he lent us one for trial and demonstration purposes. We should actually probably put that in one of our cars. Maybe two.
I really think we should.
I think we should.
I know.
Because then we'd look like the immature endurance racing team that we are. Oh, wait, I mispronounced that, didn't I? Sorry, my bad. We could
so what does the Sentinel system do?
We could have 3 cameras with picture-in-picture. We could have, if we ever get the AIM system to work, open invitation to anybody from AIM to come on and give us a little bit of love. We need some help. And then we could have all our telemetry on there. And then we can have it streamed live into the paddock or around the world to our millions of fans. We're apparently very popular in Kenya right now. Don't know why, but that's fine. And it can integrate all the available race statistics from like Race Hero and everything. So we could actually see how we're doing on video. We wouldn't even have to carry around our phone anymore. Live.
I love it.
Dominating with Dawson.
Well, contrary to popular opinion and rumors on the internet, we have data to prove that Ben Dawson is a real person now.
He is.
I'm not just some sort of AI generated asshole.
Nope. You're naturally that.
That's right.
Yes. What a nice visit that was.
It was super cool. I can't believe that happened. It was unbelievable.
Long rumored, long waited.
Yep.
So, Mr. Dawson, when we went down to you, we realized that there's this thing called spring that we had not experienced where we are.
We're not really experiencing that much of it right now either.
No, it seems to be oscillating back and forth between, it's just not letting go. But pretend that the weather was somewhat normal. Around this time of year, some people have already started, but many people are going to be starting really soon if they haven't already. And we were thinking it might be time for us to put out a what should you be doing right now to help you the most with the season coming up?
Oh, well, if it's me, it's like build that race car you haven't been building for years. Maybe stop going and doing like one endurance race a year.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you do. I think from what I saw that all you have to do is add water and it's going to fix itself. Is that what the label said on the side?
I put that note everywhere just to remind myself there's no water in the radiator. Like that was really going to end up being a problem when I did like go back through and do every single thing to the engine by the time I take it out for a second.
Yeah, I looked over at that car with like the doors off and the stuffed unicorn inside of it and all and just no water. That's the least of the problem.
That's what's keeping it.
Don't go start it.
Can't race it without water. Everything else is fine.
Yeah. So yeah, for me, it's everything. Everything needs to be done. But if we're talking about somebody else who might be a little closer to the action, what do you guys think? What should you be doing right now?
Well, there's certain things you can do as the season goes, but then there's other things that you have to do or you don't go on track. Like if you need a fire suppression system, is it still certified?
Right.
Is your Han's device still certified? Is your, maybe you haven't driven in a couple of years. Is your helmet still valid for right now? And, the things that have deadlines imposed on them non-arbitrarily,
Yeah.
uh,
So check your safety gear.
check all your safety gear, check anything.
Make sure you have all of your safety gear, because that stuff has a tendency at the end of one season to get spread out a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. They walk off, you lend somebody your gloves at an endurance race, the last endurance race of the year, and you forget you lent somebody your gloves.
Mm-hmm. And perhaps, look in your safety gear bag and pray that you took it out and washed it as opposed to left it there from your last race, because that could be a surprise.
Yeah.
Especially if you sweat as much as I do.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But, a lot of people have an off season and, maybe they haven't driven in a while. So what would you do to kind of get the rust off, assuming that, obviously Dominated with Dawson would never rust, but, assuming.
No, I get rusty too. Yeah, I guess there's and one thing I think about doing during the off season is if you have a car in your stable that's got a manual transmission or is similar to whatever kind of car you're driving on track, I try to take that car out and keep up to practice with my shifts, make sure my muscle memory doesn't forget anything. So that's an option. That's something that's on my mind. Something I'm always practicing heel toe, even if I don't need to be, just kind of trying to keep the motions fresh in my mind, because most of us drive manual race cars. I mean, there are a few automatics out there, but for the most part, we're trying to race manual cars. So keeping the muscle memory fresh is something that's important for me. And before I had kids, I used to be pretty good about using iRacing as a way to learn new tracks before I got there, or to stay in practice. And I think that's another good thing if it's an option for you, keep everything going on the sim, even if you're not physically at the track.
Yeah, even go-kart might not be a bad place.
Sure. Karting's always beneficial. Always teach you something. Even if you don't feel like you're going fast enough on the carts, it's teaching you something, whether you want to learn it or not.
Right. Yeah. And Miss Vicki?
Well, no, those of you that have been working on your builds should be finishing that big stuff up right now.
I have people to take care of that for me.
Yeah. So
Hi, people.
Hi,
people.
Right now on your checklist, you should be right now focusing on the stuff that you have to have done in order to get on track. And there's a lot of niceties that people do to their cars, the stuff they would like to have done. That stuff can wait till after your first race. You have to get your must-haves done now. So when you break up your lists.
Mm-hmm.
So that could mean, if you're putting in extra sensors, or if you are putting in, wiring for a potential cool suit system, that stuff can wait. You're not even there yet, But if you can get stuff done that is, make sure your fluids are done, make sure your brakes are done, make sure your engines are solid, make sure all your safety gear is done, make sure your trailering is lined up, and all your basics right now on your next phase is going to start collecting stuff for your races that you need.
Yep.
All the fluff and the niceties, set that aside for now. If you're not ready, if you're not there yet.
Use a checklist. Make sure you have everything that you usually bring to the track, because the last thing you want to do is go to the track and get there and realize you don't have your torque wrench, or you don't have your air compressor to blow up your tires, or whatever you view as critical.
Yep.
Yes.
We need to have it.
Yep.
I got one we haven't talked about.
What's that?
Okay.
First day, first time on track, first stint, first session is not the time to break your personal record on the track.
Yeah. I didn't know if we were going to get all the way to actually being on track, but yes, there are definitely some warm-up things you can do. Like, don't be trying to reach for the blinker that your race car doesn't have when you go to the first turn, because you'll need to signal on track.
Nope. Don't need blinkers to pass.
No.
Ask me how I know that. Yeah.
You guys are pulling your either your new builds are finishing up, or you're pulling your cars out of the garage, and they've been sitting there for a while. And yes, you have not, unless, in the South, this is different, but as the season starts and you get on track, as Bill said, it is not the time to do that. What you want to do is take your car slow, not slow driving, but feel for what your car is doing. For those that are new to this and you're doing your test days, feel what your car is doing. Try to really get an idea if there's anything that feels off or if the alignment feels off. That's another thing you guys should be doing, is going out and getting all your alignments done also. And then bring it in. Check tires. This, your first track day with your car out, all you new drivers especially, is always recommend a test day first time in the year. Always recommend that. You got to check out everything that you've done. And, you paid to get there, so you don't want to pay to be working on your car. So start there. And
call
that way
it a test day, call it a shakedown day, call it whatever,
Yes.
whatever makes you feel better about doing it. But, it's not, the car's not ready and warmed up. You're probably not ready and warmed up. So,
Right.
even the best of the drivers that we know, they either have a shakedown day before their first event, or they ramp up during the first event. They realize that they have rust, and they realize that they aren't as sharp as they want. And, there's another great podcast out there is Lizard Brains. And last season, one of the hosts there said that he didn't feel as warmed up as he does this year until like the middle of the season. And it's only because he's been doing a lot of iRacing, and then he's also been able to get on track a few times earlier this year. So he feels like he's up to speed, and, he's one of the better drivers out there. So if it applies to them, it definitely applies to us, and it will likely have applied to you.
Right.
Well, what I've noticed that on my first time out for the season, there is a sensory overload. It feels as if I am going a lot faster than I really am. So that's why, test days before you get on the track are really good, just so you can warm yourself up. If you can ever get into an HPDE or any kind of track day before you end up on the track, that's really good too. If you can get a chance to do that before you test your car, if you can hit one of those, would be awesome. Anytime you get a chance to shake down your car before you actually have to pay and have a team depend on you is a good idea.
Good point. Very good point.
We miss anything, Mr. Dawson?
No, I mean, I think it is important to take things in stride, and if you're kind of just throwing your build together or whatever, you just kind of refreshed or redid on your car, and then showing up at the first event, the serious, first maybe potential points or standings kind of event you've got. Don't be surprised if it doesn't all work. It's important to go kind of test stuff out and make sure everything is working the way you want. So I just want to reiterate that. That's the kind of thing that is top of my mind, because it is super disappointing to not have all the time or resources you need. You just got to get out there with whatever you can throw together, and then it doesn't go well. But I think we've all been there. So,
yeah.
Plus, if it's a first event in the season, hopefully you've got a long season. You don't want to injure yourself, your car, your friends, or anything like that. And, just don't let the red mist get too misty.
Yeah.
Yes. And also, nut bolting your car before you get out is really important. Checklists back.
What's nut bolting?
Nut and bolting.
Does everybody know what that is?
Okay. Nut and bolting. Make sure that when you go through and for those of you that are pulling your car out of your garages and you're new to this, is go through your car and make sure all the bolts are tight. All the especially the critical ones. You make sure your tie rods, control arms. You want to make sure that, even the motor mounts, everything. And then when you do, take a paint pen and strike it with a line from the bolt or the nut, whatever, and onto the body. So if there's any rotation in it. So when you go back and nut bolt again, you won't have to, you can see if something has moved.
Right.
That is always good. That is probably one of the most important things that you can do, because there are failures just by things falling off, because something like that hasn't been done. So be sure to do that. And, we have lists on our website. We still do, right, Bill?
Yeah.
Okay.
I probably should update them. They're better now.
Yeah. Yes. We have updated lists on our website. So checklists for paddock, for tools, for cars, You can go ahead to our website and pull those. And, when you start putting your team together, now's the time also before your race is probably about 3 weeks out would be a good time to get with your team to figure out what your paddock is going to be like, what your sleeping arrangements are going to be, and what your food is going to be. We always recommend crock pots. It's great. And then delegate people for the meals and, who's going to bring what for your team. And that is probably another very, very important part of it because, a properly sustained team is a well-running, less cranky team.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just sitting here thinking, oh, you mean you can eat at the track?
Yeah. You
what?
Come with us, Ben. We'll take care of you.
Yeah. So think about those things also and your organization levels. But again, we have all that on our lists.
Yeah. And if you're not doing endurance racing for an entire weekend, maybe it just means it could be as simple as getting your autocross box together or whatever you need for your racing. It doesn't have to be, we typically travel with 10 plus people, 2 or 3 or 4 cars, some other teams that we work with. So we get a little carried away. So often we get, like everybody else, we get tunnel vision on what we're used to doing. And maybe you don't need to do that if you're only going to an autocross that takes half your day or, so that's fun.
We always recommend a dry board, a dry race board in the paddock. So that's another thing. You can line up your teams, your team members who are driving, who's going to be in hot pit, and if there's anything else that you need, that's a really great thing. Lists are awesome. So get those together. What else do we do?
It's so many. We have lists about what we do. So they're there. We have a whiteboard labeling system that works for us. I might need to put that out. Apparently Vicky's getting very excited about that or something else. You never know. Here comes the bulldozer. Come on in.
I am. I know. Check your license. Check all your licenses too, because sometimes you could be driving with an expired license and won't know it till you get to the track.
They won't let you on.
They will not let you on. And then make sure that wherever you're driving, you have the proper license to drive in that event. Because sometimes you have to buy a an event license for the year.
Series license, whatever.
A series license.
Yeah, just make sure you got all your stuff together. There's stuff that you just do and you don't even think about it. And then one year you forget it. So just be safe is the big one, though. I think that's the biggest one. Don't try and hit it hard the first day. So cool.
Sounds good to me.
That was the quietest Ben Dawson ever to dominate with Dawson. Dominated without Dawson.
Well, no, I'm just I'm the least prepared, least working ahead kind of guy ever. So I didn't have a whole lot positive to say about that.
He's borderline arrive and drive.
I was mostly just listening to kind of get tips. Sorry, that's not my wheelhouse.
I should have done that too. Yeah.
Yeah, damn, we could do that.
Yeah, we're actively in it. So we thought we would share.
We have to make up for our lack of performance with preparation, Ben. You go the other
way. Thank you very much.
All right. And on your next time with Dawson, Ben will talk. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.